We're here today with Corey Jennings from Dynatrac. And Corey, you brought along some axles with you. We've got a ProRock 44 up front, and then we've got this massive ProRock XD in the back.
Yes, this is actually specifically our XD Extreme Duty axle, the biggest and the best that you can get.
All right, well, let's leave this one for a little bit later and jump right into that ProRock 44.
All right, so what you see right here is our ProRock 44 housing for the Jeep JK. So the way this is laid out, this is for the customer that has a Rubicon locker, is already getting into off-roading, but they want something a little stronger. They want that confidence to be able to run their axle and their vehicle all day and be able to get home. So this will come with a 3-inch tube, 1/2 inch thick walls. As you see, the bigger C's that it comes with dwarfs anything that you can get from the factory, about 2.5 times the size.
You mean those C's that bend?
Absolutely, all the time. You won't have that problem with the Dynatrac axle. So with this axle, like I said, it utilizes the Rubicon internals. So customers that have a Rubicon locker, gears, and axle shafts will be able to put it inside of this beefed up housing, install it into their vehicle, and have that confidence to be able to wheel harder.
So this bare housing would be perfect for that JK owner who has already upgraded some of their axle components, maybe a different locker up front, stronger axle shafts, and they just need to replace that weaker factory housing.
Yeah, that's for the Dana 44. The customers that say they have the Dana 30 non-Rubicon front axle, we offer this completely built out with stronger internals from 35 spline axle shafts, your choice of gear ratio, and then also lockers as well, anything from an Eaton electronic e-locker to ARB air locker.
And Corey, this is gonna bolt right into their Jeep?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our bracketry is designed to follow OEM specifications, but we took the liberty to make stronger brackets from 3/16-inch steel. We gusseted it properly, integrated what we needed to for the strongest bracketry layout. We also accommodate for customers that are running, I'd say, about a 3.5-inch lift plus. We adjust the caster and the pinning angle to all work in sync.
So to get those optimized for those with the taller lifts.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And not only is it available to the JK owner as a bare housing, you can also get these fully built out for the JK, JL, and JT owners.
Absolutely. So we do offer these fully built out with your choice of gears, lockers internally, 30 to 35 spline axle shafts, and also available, of course, with our Pro Steer ball joints for the JK, JL, and JT.
So, and that sounds like the perfect axle for those who are pushing the limits of that factory axle. They got the bigger tires, they're doing the harder trails.
Yeah, so this axle is meant for that person that is getting into their vehicle and finally utilizing it and then stretching their confidence level of what the factory axles offer.
All right, now that we've talked about the ProRock 44, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or I should say the elephant on the table. This thing is massive. It just dwarfs that ProRock 44.
Absolutely. What you see right here is actually the XD series, which is Extreme Duty 60 front axle, the biggest and the best that you can get.
So Corey, who is this axle for?
This axle is built out for that customer that is trying to conquer the biggest trails out there and being able to get home and not worry about any kind of breakage. That's what this axle is built for.
So bigger tires and bigger trails.
Absolutely. The customer that is has their mindset on running 40-inch tires plus, this is the axle for them.
And speaking of bigger, everything's so much bigger. These axle tubes are just massive. What's the size of these things?
These are the industry leading 3 3/4-inch axle tubes. You know, we get all the strength through the diameter of the axle itself, or the axle tube, I should say, paired with our ProRock pumpkin with all the ribs and the fins and the inner C's. It's the strongest axle that you can get out there.
And this axle is just going to give us a lot more resistance against bending with those bigger tires on those bigger trails.
Yeah, you should never experience bending with this kind of axle.
We're going to go on that bigger theme. The next up I'm noticing is, again, the bigger brackets.
Yeah, absolutely. So our bracketry, when we designed it, it's going to be 3/16-inch thick, properly gusseted where we needed to. Some of the brackets are integrated, as you can see, with the the coil spring mount and the front track bar mount. Everything's integrated for strength and reliability.
And they're in the proper place to just bolt right in.
That is correct. So they are to OEM specifications. We do adjust it a little bit to adjust the camber offset to the pinion, so you're not running such a high pinion angle.
So, and as we move out here, we've already addressed those C's. But this knuckle assembly is just huge. It's much bigger than a standard Dana 60.
That is correct. So this is our 1550 wheel end that only comes on our XD 60 series. It comes paired only with our Pro Steer ball joints. This is going to have the low scrub radius, all the proper angles for all your steering components, to tie rod to drag link, all set up and ready to go.
And that low scrub radius, really important when you get to those bigger diameter tires. I also noticed that your tie rod assembly is mounted in a top mount position, and it's got high steer arms cast right in.
Yeah, so yeah, as you mentioned right here, it's gonna be a top down tie rod and then a bottom up drag link. And yes, it is built in, cast into the knuckle for less failure and a lot more strength.
And as we work our way farther out, I noticed it doesn't have a unit bearing.
No more unit bearing in this. So this is gonna come with our, as you see, the wheel bolt pattern is gonna be 8-on-6.5. This is gonna be our dual bearing, what we would call a freewheeling end kit. So it has an external bearing and internal bearing to distribute the load for customers that have really heavy vehicles and large tires. It's gonna handle that.
And then right out to the Dynalock locking hubs.
Yeah, so this is our Dynalock in-house locking hub that you see right here. This has the smallest bezel that you can get on the market compared to anything in the competition, with a 1/2 inch thick right here. Engineered for really tight tolerances, that's where we get our strength with the Dynalock.
And that narrow bezel is great when you've got that rig laid out in some rocks and you're not scraping that locking hub up against the rocks.
Absolutely. So, you know, every little inch counts and every 1/2 inch counts. So yeah, this is on average about 50% smaller than any hub that you can get.
That's fantastic. So as we move back to the center, of course, we're going to carry that bigger thing. This has got the bigger Dana 60 ring and pinion in it.
Right.
But what else have you done inside this axle housing?
So with this, when we designed it, of course, with the high clearance, paired with the differential cover. As you see, there is an actual channel where the ring gear sits. It also optimizes to sling the proper amount of oil into the back pinion bearing.
So this is a big oil channel up here.
Absolutely, and it keeps the pinion well lubricated. And we also went a step further and designed our dual sump high volume seal, which acts like a dam to be able to keep oil into the pinion while you have high pinion applications.
So you've really optimized this oiling for the hardcore four-wheeler.
Absolutely.
So now, just like the ProRock 44, people can order this XD60 with whatever options they want, correct?
Absolutely. So customers can order it with a bunch of different gear ratios. I'll just mention the typical ones of a 488, 513 to 538 gear ratio. Also your choice of locker. There's an abundance of lockers that'll fit in here, from an ARB air locker, Eaton E-locker, a Yukon zip locker, Grizzly locker, your choice.
So no matter what locker they like, they can get it in here.
Yes.
So there you have it, the ProRock line of axles from Dynatrac, that ProRock 44, that ProRock XD60. Is there something we're missing?
Of course, as we see right here, we're just talking about fronts. We also have matching rears and even bigger rears. For the XC60, we have a matching XC60 rear, or the big boy is the 80 rear, the ProRock 80.
I'm sure that'll bring up a lot of questions. What would be the perfect axle for you, for your vehicle, for your application? We'll leave those down in the comment section below. We'd be happy to answer them for you.